Hey, yo, I want to talk about the Magic the Gathering colour pie and the fascinating origins of the names given to each colour combination often used by the community. Magic as a game utilises 5 different colours of card, meaning there are 32 different combinations of colours that any deck can consist of, ranging from all 5 colours in one deck to 4 colours, 3 colours, 2 colours, 1 colour and no colours at all. To save time and for ease of use, each of these colour combinations has been given a nickname, and in this video I'm going to go over the sometimes surprisingly interesting origins of each one. There are 32 of them, so I'm going to move quickly, and aside from the first one, I'm going to start with the combinations that use the most colours first. In essence, filling this chart in backwards because I think it's more interesting that way. But before that, there are the decks that use no colours. Often running artifacts or Eldrazi, and supported by wastes in place of other basic lands, decks that use no colours of mana don't really have a name and are simply referred to as colourless decks. Similarly, decks that use all 5 colours don't tend to have a specific name either. Sometimes referred to as Wooburg, as the notion of a 5-colour deck was first conceived in Wooburg, Scandinavia, but more commonly, decks that run all 5 colours are just known as 5-colour decks. The 4-colour combinations are next, and these decks are not as commonly played, so the nicknames for them are a little less defined. So for instance, a deck with all the colours but red might just be called a not red deck. However, when nicknames are used for them, they're based off of creature cards that feature these colours, starting with green, white, blue and black. While both Atraxa Praetor's Voice and Grand Unifier are probably the creatures this colour combination is best known for, its nickname is actually derived from this card, Witchmore Nephilim. Hence, green, white, blue and black decks are known as Witchmore decks. Similarly, red, green, white and blue is best known for cards like Omnath Locus of Creation or the 14th Doctor, but its nickname is from this card, Ink Treader Nephilim. Hence, red, green, white and blue decks are known as Nephilim decks. Black, red, green and white has only ever appeared on a single card printed with those exact colours, Saskia the Unyielding, with the art that depicts Saskia and her brood emerging from the dunes to attack their foes. Hence, black, red, green and white decks are known as Dune Brood decks. Blue, black, red and green is best known for its commander pairing of Kydella Chosen of Kruphix, whose eyes are covered, and Vile Smasher the Fierce, who throws bottles of glinting light. Hence, blue, black, red and green decks are known as Glint Eye decks. White, blue, black and red is known for Breya, Ethereum Shaper, and Yortilla Nephilim. Thus, with so few cards to choose from, white, blue, black and red decks are known as Ethereum Shaper decks. The 3-colour combinations are next, and unlike the 4-colour combinations, their nicknames aren't so uniformly themed around creatures, but instead themes and concepts. These 10-colour combinations are broken into 2 groups known as Wedges and Shards, based on which decks were played by which team during the 1992 5v5 all-colour multi-slam finals where the Milwaukee Wedges faced off against the Cincinnati Shards. The first of the Wedges is green, blue and red. Cards like Temur Ascendancy and Temur Banner have intrinsically linked this colour combination with the Temur clan of Tarkir. Hence, green, blue and red decks are known as Temur decks. Similarly is red, white and black. Cards like Savai Triome and Savai Crystal have intrinsically linked this colour combination with the Savai clan from Tarkir. Hence, red, white and black decks are known as Savai decks. Black, green and blue is the colour combination of magical pirates from across the multiverse, but especially present on planes like Ixalan, Innistrad and Conspiracy. Hence, black, green and blue decks are known by that old pirate term, Salt Eye decks. After the tragic events of Colour Pie Day, blue, red and white decks are one of the 3 colour combinations now banned across all formats, and so there are no decks which require a nickname for this specific combination. For the sake of filling in our chart though, I'm just going to call these banned blue, red and white decks Forbidden 1. White, black and green only has a single card printed with these colours, Abzan Guide. It's unknown exactly who or what an Abzan is or why it would need a guide, or perhaps what it's a guide of, but regardless, white, black and green decks are known as Abzan decks. And now we're on to the Shards. Green, white and blue decks are famed for their green, white and blue counterspells, which prevent your opponent's spells from resolving, usually cutting short their banter. To reflect this, green, white and blue decks are known as Bant decks. Red, green and white is the colour of cats, and while Slash Panther, Pride Malkin or Half Kitten Half might spring to mind, obviously the first cat that every Magic the Gathering player will think of is always going to be Nyan Cat. Hence for that reason, red, green and white decks are known as Nyan decks. Black, red and green decks are named after the involuntary noise you make every time you play one of its cards. Hence, black, red and green decks are known as Jund decks. Blue, black and red decks were made popular by a 6-time Pro Tour World Champion, the mysterious and enigmatic Chorb Grixis Demir. Hence, in his honour, blue, black and red decks are known as Demir decks. White, blue and black decks have had 4 cards specifically printed for their colour combination, and thus you won't see a white, blue and black deck without them regardless of format. De Esperate Century, Deep Muck de Esperado, The Espergul, and most famously, Belb Esper Chur. Hence, white, blue and black decks are known as Esper decks. That brings us to the end of the 3 colour combinations, and before we move on, I just want to let you know that I have a new tier on my Patreon. It's £1, which I think is just under a US $1.50, and it supports me so I can, pay rent, but it will also get your name credited on screen at the end of my videos in a text crawl exclusive to that tier. Your name will be small, but it will be there. Here's the catch though. I'm limiting it to only 1,000 people. So if £1 or just over $1 doesn't sound like much, you want to see your name in my videos, and you want to help me keep creating more of this, then come sign up to my Patreon, link in the description. Thank you, and on with the rest of the list. The 2 colour combinations are next, and each of these names is synonymous with a mechanic, playstyle or thematic in-universe guild representing the colours. Green and blue is first, and speaking of thematic guilds, this combination is represented by the Guild of Quandrix, one of the 10 guilds of Strixhaven. Hence, green and blue decks are known as Quandrix decks. Red and white is also represented by a guild, this time the Guild of Boros, one of Ravnica's 10 guilds. Hence, red and white decks are known as Boros decks. Black and green is the second of 3 colour combinations now banned across all formats. And so once again, there are no decks which require a nickname for this specific combination. But again, for the sake of filling in our chart, I'm just going to call these now banned black and green decks Forbidden 2. Blue and red, the colours of Storm decks with cards like Flutterstorm and Grapeshot. This colour combination is named after the response people give when their opponent says, "My Storm deck is fun to play against." Hence, blue and red decks are known as Is It? White and black gets its name from cards like Ghost Council of Orzova, Gift of Orzova, and Orzova the Church of Deals. Hence, white and black decks are known as Orzova decks. Green and white is next, and this is another deck combination that takes its name from a and may just be a scenes and without any evidence. Hence, green and white decks are known as Red and green has a nickname that reflects the community's opinion of how players of this colour combination have been treated by WotC. Laughably bad cards like Rhythm of the Wild, Gigantha the Wellspring, and potentially worst of all, Renan 6, have all led this combination being given a nickname that reflects how it feels to try and play these decks. Hence, red and green decks are known as Gruul decks. Black and red decks have such a uniformly cemented playstyle that it has spawned the nickname for the colour combination. Every single black and red deck seeks to play 2 copies of the Rack, a colourless artifact, in hopes that they can infinitely combo off of each other, thus achieving black and red's win condition. Hence, black and red decks are known as Rakdos decks. Once again, but dropping the red this time, blue and black decks were made prominent by the 6-time Pro Tour World Champion, the infamous and inscrutable Chorb Grixis Demir. A terrifying man, but a wonder with cardboard if you ever get the chance to see him play. Hence, blue and black decks are known as Chorb decks. And finally, a potential white and blue deck does theoretically exist, but as of time of writing, no one's been able to successfully build one. As it stands, there is no name for this supposedly possible colour combination, and many speculate there never will be, because attempts to build this deck have been so futile. If you somehow manage to add these cards together into one deck, then I imagine that you would get the honour of naming this colour combination. I think Kevin's a pretty good name personally. However, for now, these speculative white and blue decks will remain unnamed. That's the last of the 2 colour combinations, meaning we only have 5 left to go as we move on to the decks made up of 1 colour combination. First, it's green. While not every green deck needs to run this card, Floral Spasm is so prevalent and popular amongst the player base that the words green and spasm seem almost interchangeable now to anyone familiar with the game. Hence, green decks are known as Spasm decks. The nickname for red decks, I probably can't say on YouTube, but I think it's summed up by cards like this one, or these 2 gentlemen might be a better example. This one has some implications. I mean, okay, that one's just on the nose. Oh, goes all the way back to the old school cards I see. Oh boy, I don't want to know what that is next to his head. Okay, yeah, I think we get the idea. And so, while I won't say its actual name, let's just say that red decks are known as Adult Fun decks. Black is next, and the reference for this colour combination's name is subtle and easily missed. But if you look at cards like Lethal Scheme, Revel Ruiner, and Raffine's Silencer, you'll notice how they all share the same watermark beneath their text. This is the faction symbol for the Nuka Penna Guild of Obscura, one of Magic's oldest guilds. Hence, black decks are known as Obscura decks. Sadly, blue is the third of 3 colour combinations now banned across all formats, and so, for the last time, there are no decks which require a nickname for this specific combination. But as usual, for the sake of filling in our chart, I'm going to call these now banned blue decks Forbidden Free. And finally, white as a colour combination is known for cards like Blacksmith Skill, Black Scarab, Gideon Blackblade, Black Ward, Circle of Protection Black, and Rune of Protection Black. Hence, white decks are known as black decks. And thus ends our journey through the definitive list of the fascinating origins of each colour combination's name. Were there any colour combinations that I missed? Did I make any mistakes or get anything wrong? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, what's your favourite combination to play? Do you like a Sortai deck? Are you a Quandrix player? Maybe you're just a fan of Spuzum. Let me know that too. I think if I were to pick a favourite, and it existed, I'd like to play Kevin. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone who supports me, like James Diamond, Eggboy the Particle that permeates all existence, and the rest of my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page where you can get your name credited on screen too. Check it out in the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, install an ad block, most importantly subscribe and share this video with a friend, or maybe don't share this one actually. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, or you want to see me do a video on another subject, let me know and I will see you next time. Hence, black, red and green decks are known as Jund decks. Straight face. Blue, black and red decks were made Blue, black and red decks were made popular by the Jund.